And I can tell like my organization was different here than it is now.
Sure.
Okay, so this is literally it.
Really?
Yeah,
Just
just
one
SSL
plugin.
comp. Yeah, and all it's doing is just kind of gluing things together a little bit more. Um, okay. Oh my gosh. I have so many different prints now that it's just like crazy.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm not
that's a
sure
very
exactly what's going
Jordan.
on with my levels,
That's a
but
very Jordan approach to your mix bus, just like compressor and you know,
yeah.
not saying you stole it, but I was just saying like he's very simple. He's very simple on the mix bus, and I'm very like I'll have 8 plugins on my mix bus.
Yeah. So are you kind of like a top-down mixer?
Very much so. Like
Nice.
I'll have virtual mix rack, I'll have EQs, then I'll have like a compressor, I'll have all sorts of stuff. It's just different styles, so it shows that like you can get different results different ways.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
but the
I
most
probably would.
important element is this compressor. I mean, that's 90% of the work I'm doing, and yeah, you have to have this.
Yeah, it just it glues things together more nicely so that if you have transients that are poking out, it's gonna help you, put everything together a little bit more.
Especially that snare drum. Like if you don't have this, your snare is just going to be like really overly loud.
Right, exactly. And you need it to be up front, but you don't need it to be like that up front.
Yeah.
So it really does help. I kind of was looking at my mixes recently, and I realized I was pushing this a little harder than other people do. Like I probably ideally would not want it to go past like right here.
Yeah.
Because I just want it to do a little bit. Like most of all the work I'm doing is in my buses and my EQ and
Yeah.
compression on each individual track. I'm not really like a top-down mixer per se.
Yeah.
But that's
Four is about as far as I'll go with that. But I did like your mix did not fall apart when you took it off, which, that's a good sign. Like, I mean, if you
yeah.
took my mix bus off, I mean, my mix sounds alien. It's very funny. It's just a way that I've done it. But yeah, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I get good results, so what can I say? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like your mix still sounds pretty solid even when you took the compressor off. So
Yeah.
uh,
I appreciate that. I'm not sure what's going on with my routing, but like I have things that should be playing that aren't playing and
it's
yeah,
okay.
stuff like
Um,
that. Yeah. Which there's a ton of layers on here. Like these are all different types of guitar things that you
yeah,
don't necessarily like hear all of it in the mix, but like it's adding something to it. But
exactly.
yeah.
Well, I saw you have a slow attack, fairly fast release. So you're hitting 4
Mhm.
dB of compression, but it's like it's pretty slow, so you're not killing the transients.
Right. Bloom is really important to me. I hate it when like uh I just hate it when the attack is really pronounced. On a drum, you
Yeah,
get that like but you
yeah,
don't have the ring coming out. That
exactly.
kills me.
The
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, the body exactly. That's a great way of putting it. And that's a lot of what adds the liveliness and the groove to it is when you can kind of like hear the drums ring out and it's more vibey. And once you lose that, then you
So
get a
is
lot closer to stale
does this
mixes.
compressor start on your mix so you're mixing through it, or is it something you throw on at the end?
Um I've often just left it on.
Okay.
Uh yeah, I don't know that I think about it too much, but yeah, it's just kind of adding like a little bit extra at the end, but typically it's not too much of like a make or break if it's on or off. It's just gonna glue it together a tiny bit more.
Oh man,
Um,
it doesn't make or break it. That makes me uncomfortable because I have to mix through my cocktail mastering chain or mix chain or else
yeah,
like yeah. Anyways, so that's
yeah,
great. I mean, if you can do that, awesome. Like probably means
yeah,
your fundamentals are a little stronger. But like I'm not even comfortable if I don't have like I'm like I might as well not make music at all if I don't have this compressor on.
yeah. Well, I think like Nolly Get Good does a lot of top down mixing.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastic mixer. So it,
Yeah.
it just kind of depends on what works for you. But like for me, like everything that I've learned, basically, I've learned from Jordan. Um,
Yeah.
so I just I've basically copied his approach to the T, and have gradually found things that may work for me better than things that he taught. But like
Yeah.
probably like 90% of the things that I learned from Jordan, I still do.
Yeah.
So
I just hope everyone can agree, like, at least using this compressor on your mix bus makes a big difference because it keeps the vocal from getting out of control. It keeps those drum transients in check. And
yeah,
it makes it sound finished, in my opinion.
it does. Yeah, it's just nice for things sticking out a little bit less. And I think it gives you like it just gives you the glue that you would almost expect more from a master, once you've gotten to that point.
Yeah.
And like I think a lot of people they leave things too much to the mastering stage.
Yeah.
Like like you should never be like, "Oh, it's fine. It'll be good when it's in mastering." Like like if you think that the snare is too loud and that it's, out
Yeah.
of control, like take care of that in the mix. Like don't leave that to the mastering engineer because what they have to do in order to compress that snare, you might not like what that does to the rest of your mix.
Yeah.
And
You
like
got to
also
be end you got to be end product focused. Like you got to be like trying to achieve that end product sound as early in the process as possible.
yeah, totally. And like you also like you would never want to send something to your clients and be like, "Oh, don't worry, this will be better when it's mastered." Like it's like, "Okay, cool. So what happens if it gets to the master and we're still not happy with it?"
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
is just not a